Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Catie McNeil. You've now clicked on the Weather Now link. A lot to unpack here as we're tracking very messy weather both overnight tonight and really throughout the day tomorrow on Sunday as well. And followed by that will be very gusty conditions. So we have a lot of advisories in place right now. Here's what's first. We have the winter weather advisory in place for all of Rhode Island and Bristol County, Mass. The warning area was expanded a little bit farther south to just above the border here, as we could see some slightly higher snowfall accumulations across those areas pointing north, especially northwestern Rhode Island. So with that warning was expanded a little bit by NWS, but we're still sticking with our general range of 2 to 4 inches. But again, some spots could see isolated close to 5, especially those areas north and northwest of Providence. And here's a look at the high wind watch that we have in effect. Now, this is after the system moves through, so we'll be drier by later in the day Sunday evening into Monday, but with that very windy conditions set in, we could see wind gusts up to 65 miles an hour, so potentially damaging wind gusts in lieu of the system that we're seeing overnight tonight into Sunday. So again, a lot that we're tracking here. Very busy weekend. We're starting to see some light snowfall now as temperatures are well into the lower 20s. Not really seeing much of that sticking to the road just yet, but as snow becomes heavier later on this evening, we'll start to see those accumulating snowfall totals, especially as we head towards the overnight after 10 o'clock until around 3 p.m. But this is a multifaceted storm. So we're starting off with the snowfall here later this evening and overnight. That is then going to switch to freezing rain and sleet, and then finally rain on the back end of this system. So with that, let's take a look at the weather timeline here. So tonight we're looking at that heaviest snowfall kind of after 9 o'clock until around 2, 3 o'clock in the morning before it switches over to sleet, icy conditions with that freezing rain. So with that, the morning, anyone out and about tomorrow early, especially around 7, 8, 9 o'clock, it's going to be very icy. We're also monitoring the potential for some power outages as well, with ice potentially weighing down on power lines and loose limbs. So that's going to be the Sunday morning situation. Then after around 10 o'clock, temperatures will start to rise, and we're expected to switch to rain, which could be heavy at times. Believe it or not, we could even see a rumble of thunder or two as well towards Sunday afternoon. So a lot here to go over, and with that we have a lot of potential impacts. So first of all, with the snowfall, we're seeing very slippery roadway conditions, some dangerous driving later this evening and overnight tonight. We're also monitoring the potential for power outages from the very icy conditions accompanied with the freezing rain and sleet that we're seeing with that switch over late overnight Saturday into Sunday. And then on the second half of the day tomorrow on Sunday, we're monitoring the potential for some minor street flooding, urban poor drainage flooding from heavy rainfall moving in, and then the damaging wind gusts accompanied with that wind advisory later in the day Sunday after the system moves out and on until Monday evening. So with that, here's our snowfall accumulation. So again, this is first up. We're starting to see the snowfall right now, 2 to 4 inches across the board, with the exception of the immediate coastline, which is expected to be a little bit less, maybe 1 to 2 inches. But we could see isolated higher amounts of up to 5 in those areas north and northwest of Providence Metro. But with that, we're going to be seeing this switch over, so the accumulating snowfall by this time tomorrow will most likely be gone. So with that, you're seeing this more moderate to heavy snowfall moving in later in the night tonight. The pink, though, that's your mixed precipitation, your freezing rain, sleet. That's going to start to move farther northward as we head towards the overnight hours here and early in the morning on Sunday. So that pink kind of starts to widespread over, stretch the area here as we head towards kind of the early morning, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and then slowly as we head towards mid to late morning, we'll be switching completely over to rain. So areas north and northwest will be seeing snowfall for longer, and then that freezing rain window for longer before the entire area switches to rain. But with that, we're looking at that potential flooding risk as well. You can see very heavy rainfall expected to move through around 3, 4, 5 o'clock before we finally start to dry out later in the evening towards the overnight Sunday into Monday. But again, that will be accompanied with very windy conditions. And let's take a look at these wind gusts here, up to 50, 60, even 65 miles an hour across the board here in spots as we head towards your Monday morning, afternoon, and even evening. So we will be dry, but then we're monitoring these wind gusts here, which could potentially be damaging with the wind gusts up to 65 miles an hour. That was upped just a little bit here, and that will expire that high wind watch as we head towards Monday evening. So with that, tonight again, we're looking at snow early, switching over to freezing rain and sleet late in the night. It's going to lead way to those very icy conditions early tomorrow morning. We will eventually be switching to rain, but until that happens, very slippery on roadways due to both the snow and the freezing rain. Icy on roadways, and we're also monitoring those power outages as we switch to rain. Any drains that are blocked by snow still at this point with the heavy rain moving through could certainly lead to some poor drainage, flooding issues, urban street flooding. So we will, of course, continue to monitor all this in the next 24 hours. So a lot to cover here. We will have continual coverage both on air and online as this system continues to move through.